welcome to this week's Outcasts update, and also welcome to October. So all the bearish stuff is going to go away, isn't it? Right? Because September's gone and September's bearish and October's always bullish. Well, we'll see. We just had the monthly and quarterly close, so we'll get into that. But first news as always. So last week there wasn't much to report, and probably the same this week. But who knows? The list's there. Again, we post this in the Discord. There's high value, high impact events shown pretty much daily next week, but they're not normally massive. The job claims could be, and the non-farm payrolls could be, depending on what comes out of those, but normally it's the Fed interest rate stuff that we're worried about at the moment. So yeah, but just keep an eye on those. Other stuff that's going on in the markets, which is fairly serious, reports today about Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank, etc. needing bailouts. There's UK pension funds nearly collapsing, raging inflation, money printing going mad. So not sure where it's all going, but if there was ever a week since COVID that felt like there could be a capitulation, then so far this is it. So stockpile your gold, rice and water and candles, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's pretty wild out there at the moment. Alright, so let's get into it. What else was I going to say? Oh, last week, apologies, I forgot to upload it for non-members. The members update went live on straight away on Sunday. We delay the non-members one to YouTube until Tuesday, but I forgot, so apologies for that. Right, let's just start with SPY. Let's just adjust this. Okay. Right. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I don't know why I have to adjust that every time, but there we go. Right, we'll start on the 3 monthly, as we said, because we've got quarterly close. Okay, so first thing to note is just how ugly that candle is. That is a seriously not pleasant bear hammer. So that we call this a hammer because it's got a long handle and a body on it down here. So what you're seeing is price opened at this level, and during that 3 months of trading it did manage to get up to here, near to this point of control, was rejected back down and closed down here. So not a big candle pattern fan, but that does imply lower. And things of note, the 3 month 21 there next to this high value node, which we'll cover in a minute, but you can see some reaction off this 21, but it's not, it's well into investor time frame levels, the 3 monthly, so not really that interested in that. So let's flip to the monthly, and what do we got on the monthly? Stochastic still nose diving. That could take a number of months, I think, as we said before, to bottom out and turn, if it is going to turn. So one thing you're going to hear about on a lot of YouTube channels, I don't watch any others, but I do see the titles, and I've seen a few about this monthly 21 death signal, and yeah, I kind of, I'm not saying this looks healthy in any means, but the monthly 21, yeah, you can see, okay, there was a reaction here, closed above, broke down, but it's dancing up and down. Now it's had a full rejection, but if you look back in history, it's not really tradable, and it's not necessarily a kiss of death with a close below there. It's not good either, but it's not doesn't mean we're going to zero, put it that way. So just something to bear in mind. Now on the monthly, We've broken a couple of levels, so they can come off now, these monthly levels. The next level of levels of interest on the monthly, we've got 55 exponential here, which is probably a bit better than this 21. You can see some reactions there, but again, big wicks down, so not really that tradable. This here is of interest to me. I think there's something else that ties in with this later. We'll look at maybe on the daily or the weekly, but there's a high volume node here at 33.77. So you can see that just means there was a lot of activity traded at that price level, which kind of doesn't look like the case, but it's pretty pointy, and those pointy ones are quite nice to trade off, so that is of interest. The next monthly level we've got is 32.90 there. So that also could be an area to look out from. You can see this little support area down here before it carried on up, so could it bounce down here, wick to that and move up? Yeah, quite possible. The fib level I think we covered last time as well. I said I don't really, I've looked as hard as I can to find anything that ties in with this golden pocket, but there's not really. There's the monthly 100 exponential there, but go back in time, that's not been particularly relevant either, so that's not a 618 or a golden pocket I'll be looking to take. So that's the monthly levels. Just flick to the weekly. Stochastic still heavily down. Again, that could be weeks before that comes to any kind of bounce level. This 20 zone looks like it's given a bit of support before. One thing to note, there is a possibility of bullish divergence between this point here. You can see the RSI is currently making a high and price is making a lower low, so but that does rely on price bouncing. We haven't got a bottom yet, so that's not a confirmed divergence, just something to watch for. And another thing you're going to see a lot of on YouTube, I suspect, is stuff about the weekly 200 as well. The weekly 200 is a bit more relevant, I think. Quite a big level in trading. You can see a bounce off it here. Sorry, this is the 200 here, the purple one. You can see a bounce off it here, bounce off it there, and now it's failed and completely smashed it. So that's not good. I'll come back to the levels in a minute, and you can see this was COVID, so not massively relevant that it did react off it, but then it dumped down and then bounced back off it. But you can see back in time there has been some other reasonable interactions with it, maybe not so much there. So again, it's not a death sentence, but it's certainly not bullish to be closing below there. So levels, we've broken. That weekly can come off, that one can come off, so I should have done a bit of a tidy up here. That one can come off. Daily levels we'll come to in a minute. So the next weekly level we've got is 33, call it 33.50. Not expecting a huge amount from that, to be honest. There's nothing else I could line up with it, so it's not really of a reliable level to take. What I'm more interested in is, again, this high value node that we spoke about at 33.70. It's also the value area low, this yellow of this volume range here, so that there is a couple of things there. And we can also see it was a pretty major level back in just before COVID. That's where it dumped from. Now you could say, well, okay, that wasn't a real level because this was a reaction to a news event, but either way I think price may react to that. So weekly wise, if you're not short already from one of the high levels, then this is your next level. You can't short here for me, there's no way to manage risk. You'd have to be managing back above the weekly 200, and your risk to reward then down to this level is not great. So this is where I'd be looking for the next bounce play, and then we'll look at possible short opportunities from that. But if you catch a bounce there, be looking to get out of that fairly quickly. You're certainly not trying to hold any reversal trades at the moment, so you might want to look at this weekly 200 or the weekly level or the weekly 200 to get out on. Alright, and onto the daily. I don't think there's a huge amount else. Remove that one because that one's smashed, and we can remove that one because it's dead as well. So stochastics, nothing really there, and nothing on RSI either. There's no real chance of any bullish divergence, but a tiny one there, but they're not the ones I really like to play, to be honest. So yeah, really looking down at this high value node area next, and then we'll take it from there and pull fibs and whatever else as we usually do. Well, one thing I was just going to do, just for a bit of fun, is look at the moon phases. So people trade off these. So these are the full moons, basically, bull moons and blood moons or bear moons, whatever you want to call them. Actually, when you look at them, if you traded off them, you probably wouldn't do too badly. So they may not time to the exact day, but they do tend to get the direction. So it was only a few days ago we've had a red moon. So if you believe in witchcraft, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I think it's about the, probably could rely on science instead of this, but I think it's about 13th of October. So yeah, could see some downside until that point. But yeah, have a look at moon phases if you want to have a laugh. Rightio, let's move on to the dollar. Okay, and we'll go to the 3 monthly on the dollar. Yeah, and it's just super bullish, so stochastics up. One thing to note on the RSI, particularly on the, we'll come to it in a minute, but this is starting to get into some kind of historical levels. You can see here, this is where it topped out, went higher in 85, but you can see some here and here, there's areas where it's kind of got toppy. That doesn't imply at all that this can't carry on going up, but just something to watch. Yeah, probably not much more to say on the 3 monthly. You can see the reason that I was covering the 120 level from here. The line I've got there is 119.5, but it does go all the way up to sort of 120, 121. Go to the monthly. Again, this stochastics it's been topped out since the 1st of March, so that's pretty extreme. And again, not saying it's going to dump from here, but it's pretty overextended. But I think the old phrase that markets can stay irrational is longer than you can say solvent probably fits true. The RSI again on the monthly is just to show that these are getting to some pretty extreme levels up here at the 80 level. But again, some of the times it's hit, it's just pulled back and carried on going and bouncing off that. So that's why I'm saying that is not a sign that this is going to dump anytime soon. Okay, so that's the monthly. Weekly, oop, let's turn our moon phases off, let's turn the witchcraft off. What do we got weekly wise? Is there a chance of bearish divergence. No, that was our old one. There's nothing really there. We have got a stock cross down, but yeah, I don't really read into that too much either, given what went on here. The chart itself's a bit more interesting, so you can see our channel here that we've got. That was our channel target. Let's just move that out of the way. So what was interesting, I had this 113 marked on here, talked about it last week. If you tried to short there, which I wasn't suggesting to do, I think it was too bullish to really short there, you would have got stopped, or I would have got stopped anyway on that one. That's a pretty big move above. Let's see what that was. Yeah, you're talking about 1.5%, for which for currency is quite a lot. So, but what is interesting, rejected from there and it closed back into the channel. So it's going to be interesting to see this week whether this will decide to pull back maybe to the 618 region, or whether it's just going to keep on going. We'll cover the daily levels in a minute, but for now it's still pretty super bullish, although that is the biggest wick that we've had for a long time. So yeah, last time there was a wick here, we had a few weeks of cool off, so could be that October bullish month maybe. Right, and daily stocks down, so again that's something to watch for, although they haven't been that reliable. On Dixie, we have created two new daily levels, 114.182 and 111.735, so could create a bit of a potentially a bit of a range in here. There is a 21 exponential coming in just below, and the 618 from this pull here is something to watch. I did look at whether you could do that from here, and it kind of yeah, I think that swings better, but yeah, this is still an uptrend until it sort of takes out this weekly level, and obviously if it starts to take out the bottom of here, that's a change of behavior, but at the moment it just looks like a pullback and continuation, but you obviously got the levels there to work from. Okay, move on to gold, and I'll go to the 3 monthly. Now this doesn't look great. Obviously it's left this box that we were trading or were watching in here up to this kind of 1688 level, but it is bouncing off this 3 month 21. Again, not really a time frame that many people trade, so not much interest there. What we can see though is we've talked previous weeks about this 1500 level, and there is a few things going on there. So we've first of all got this high value node, we've got a weekly level in here, and we've got the golden pocket as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Is that I can't count at the moment, but there's a lot going on down here, so if that level is offered, I'll be interested in that. Stochastics are just kind of gliding down, not giving us much there. Again, that's bearish, trending down, is kind of bouncing off this monthly 55. So yeah, should that break, then yeah, I think we're coming down to here. There's also a 100 moving average there on the monthly as well, just to add into the mixture of interesting things going on down at that level. Okay, and skip to the weekly. Weekly's down, but will cross up above 1677, so that has got a chance for a reset. No chance for any divergence there. So yeah, so the the weekly is getting a bit more interesting. So you can see this value area low was a kind of stake in the sand for losing this range, which it lost. Now the trade last time, I can't remember, I covered it last week, but I took this and I got out of it, is this short from that breakdown of that, or the retest of that level, and the weekly 200. So yeah, I'm gonna see this week if it offers that up again. It might tie in with the possible Dixie pullback we're looking, because obviously they're just reverse correlated. So if it comes back to here, that could be a short position again. Really I should have tried to hold that down to the 1500 level, but that wasn't part of my trade plan. And just moving on to the daily, I'm going to flip back to my old chart and I'll move everything onto that other one for next week. Now yeah, you can see here this was a bit sneaky. This was our kind of zoom in a bit more, this was the bottom of our range that we were looking at, broke down from here, and this was a bit sneaky. So if you were short here, that was a bit of a nasty stop hunt, but it obviously got rejected. So this level is going to be really key. So you can short off this, fairly easy to manage risk if you're happy. Try and manage against that wick, but the yeah, and we've created a new daily level to the downside, so you could play this, manage risk up here, take profit then and hold some more down to the 1500 level. If you want to get bullish on this, at minimum it needs to start daily closing in here, preferably above this level, outside of this previous range, but it could just get back into here and start ranging again. That would be fairly tradable. But yeah, I'd want to see it to be bullish on it. I want to see it above here and start closing, retest above there, and then it can move on up. But yeah, it doesn't kind of look like that at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on it. The levels are fairly clear there, so yeah, hopefully those levels we've given you are useful for you to trade off. I'm going to cut it short there, and we'll see you in next week's one. Just a reminder, if you want to join us in the Discord, we go into more detail on a lot of these setups and daily updates, analysis, and how to trade. So link in the description below. But for now, thanks very much, and stay safe. Thank you.